Justin in the building?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's sort of it were a right rush to sign him. If I'm telling the truth, you know, we had to obviously clear the decks a little bit from our end in freeing the quarter space up and the necessary sort of cap space, and you know, Justin had a lot of deadlines at home in terms of, you know, making decisions on his career. But you know, I'm very thankful, and I think it's a great indication actually that he actually held out as long as he did for us to come through. You know, I think, you know, having spoken to him, the move was something that he was very, very keen on taking up, and I'm sure he'll tell you about that himself. You know, he's got a lot of enthusiasm, not only for coming here, but for testing himself in England as well, which I think, you know, being in the game a long time, you come across players that genuinely embrace and want to come, and players that, you know, it doesn't always quite work out for. So to get someone that, you know, wanted to come, I guess for me, for all the right reasons, and were prepared to hang out like he did, made it even more worthwhile. And we're pleased to get him here. You know, we sort of didn't really, because of the nature of how long it took out and the time in which we signed him, we probably didn't expect him here until around Christmas time. But you know, he's got all things taken care of at his end, and we got on the first available flight.
There must have been times during the whole process where you thought it wasn't going to come on.
Yeah. The day the deadline passed, really, I think that were a day. Yeah, we probably thought there was a point where, you know, we couldn't come through on time, and when we'd not got the necessary paperwork done in terms of the release of one of our former players. So we felt we'd missed out. But as I said, it was Justin really that put things on hold, which for us, you know, not only a great indication that he wanted to come here, but you know, it made us push that a little bit harder to make sure things were right and we could get the deal done and get him here. You know, I think it'd be a terrific. Anybody that watched us last year would know that, you know, it was a position that we just didn't have the depth that some other teams had, and he'll not only give us the depth but the quality in there as well.
I think Justin, obviously, as well as his own qualities, will have a big impact on the rest of the team, push them on as well.
Yeah, I think so, because you know what he brings to the table, apart from being a quality performer, is a hunger. I think you know, he's already mentioned that he's spent the last 2 years with the club what ran last, so I'm sure there's a determination on his part to make sure that certainly doesn't happen again. But the qualities he brings in terms of his experience, obviously playing on what is the very toughest arena that this game has to offer in state of origin, you know, those experiences, and playing with top clubs and the top coaches over there can only be a good thing and help rub off on some of our players. And I say the thing what's shown through more than anything, without wanting to embarrass him on his first day, is his complete enthusiasm, you know, for being here, being in England and being at the club. You know, coming into our team, and you know, when you speak to players about wanting to sign, obviously everybody does their homework. Justin will have done his homework on Wakefield, our players and our staff, and what sort of a club we want, and you know, vice versa when we're looking at players coming. You know, you do your homework on them. And I think one thing that, you know, what we're really keen to stress is, you know, we're really, really big on our players bringing to the party all the best things that they can do, which sounds like quite an obvious statement, but you know, we're a team what I think everybody will acknowledge we play. You know, we do play with a certain amount of structure, but we feel our structure and the systems in what we play gives our players, you know, a real big chance and opportunity to express all the things, you know, the individual things and the really positive traits what they bring to the table. And I think when we spoke to Justin, you know, coming to the English League and you know, having probably experienced his first session and some of the things we do this morning, you know, we are really big on him, you know, bringing something to his game that you know, may well, you know, not have been seen too often in Australia, because you know, sometimes I think teams get stifled with a little bit too much structure. So I think that's something that we can look forward to, helping him you know, bring those things out in his game. But also at his age and experience, we do feel, you know, we are getting a player with his very, very best years in front of him, which you know is you know, a very strong you know, a very strong sort of factor for our club in getting him and, you know, putting the boat out to make sure he's here today. If he's feeling fine, I think it's a great way to make your debut for a club playing on a Boxing Day fixture. Obviously, Boxing Day fixtures are probably a little bit more of a novelty than they have been historically in the game. But you know, to play at Headingley, it's a brand new pitch. It is a fantastic place and a very historical venue, and there'll be a big crowd on. So I think it's probably more of a case of me trying to stop him rather than you know, trying to manage him through that. So yeah, I would anticipate if over the next sort of 3 to 4 weeks we go all right, there's every chance of him playing Boxing Day. Yeah, we will aim to try and field as strong as a team as we possibly can. You know, we feel we're in reasonable shape. Everybody's training okay. We've got a couple of guys coming back from injuries that will be ruled out, but generally we think we're going to go for our strongest available team. If we've got a fixture and we're asking 10,000 people to put their hands in the pockets, we feel obliged to, you know, give it our best. You know, we feel we own that. Yes, everyone's over and training. Yeah, Tim's here. He had a couple of weeks delay because he signed a contract extension, and he's had a second child as well. We took this opportunity to renew his visa for the next 2 years, which, you know, unfortunately it didn't come to get him back on day one of training. But yeah, he were about 10 days late. But he's come back in really good shape. He's been doing a little bit of work over there, which has been encouraging to hear. He's been using his time wisely and doing a little bit of labouring and things like that. But now he's come back in good shape. It's good to have him back, and we've run a session this morning, and you know, we just sort of fell into place a little bit where we took off from last year. So that, you know, from our point of view, very encouraging.
He's been labouring.
He's been labouring, being a brickies labourer, I think, on a building site.
Rehab or
yeah, Frankie Mariano's probably our biggest setback. Everybody else is on time. Matty Wildy's 2 weeks early and he's back in full contact. Kyle Amor he's unlikely to play Boxing Day, but he's had a shoulder reconstruction, but he'll be back for the trial games early January. We did have a setback in training. Oliver Wilkes broke his thumb in a contact session last week. We were a little bit worried about that. I think we're a 6 to 8 week injury, but they've said 6 week maximum. He has had it screwed and plated, but we're expecting him back. He'll be back in full training when we go to camp first week in January, and should be available for all the trial games. So it's a bit of a pain for us at the moment. We are running fairly light on front rowers, and obviously we're still looking to get another front rower in at this point. But Frankie Mariano had a cast removed from his wrist, and it's still fairly delicate at this stage in terms of the ligaments and tendons in there. So they've put him back again, and again he won't play Boxing Day, and it'll probably be after Christmas before he's back in full contact, which is probably 5 weeks longer than we actually anticipated being when he first got operated on.
And how is this search for another forward progressing?
Okay. You know, we're talking to we've said this for a while now, but we are talking to a couple of players. It's just, you know, there's a number of things sort of need to fall into place before the deals happen. The players we're talking to are in contract at other clubs, so depending on who and which player it is, you know, as I say, there's 1 or 2 things that have got to be agreed on at this stage. But we are confident that we'll have another front rower with us, you know, before the season kicks off. We're quite happy with the stocks. You know, it's not a panic on, and you know, certainly not rushing around. We think we've got enough cover to start the season, but it would be nice to get it sorted out before we go to camp.